You may have noticed that if you tune around the HF broadcast bands in Australia now, a lot of what you hear just isn't Australian. It's signals coming from Asia. So where exactly did Australian HF broadcasting go? In the past, Australia has had a HF broadcasting station.
This was reduced to somewhere between 5 to 10 new cases of tuberculosis per 100,000 of population.
Back in the 20th century, shortwave let broadcasters cover enormous distances from a single site. That mattered here even more than almost anywhere else. Australia also used HF internationally. The big name was Radio Australia, which broadcasts Australia's voice across the Pacific and Asia for decades. It wasn't just entertainment either. It carried news, emergency information, and Australian influence into places where other platforms were weak controlled or simply unavailable. Shortwave was also important domestically, especially in northern and remote Australia. If you were out in the bush, at sea, driving through isolated areas, or living well outside normal coverage, HF still could get through when other services couldn't. And then Australia basically walked away from it. In December 2016, the ABC announced it would end its shortwave transmission service in the Northern Territory and to the international audiences. With transmissions stopping on the 31st of January 2017, the ABC said it was moving away from what it called outdated technology and focusing more on FM. Digital, online, and mobile delivery instead. So this wasn't propagation changing. It wasn't the bands dying overnight, it was a decision. Australia's main public shortwave presence was deliberately switched off. And the shutdown actually pissed a lot of people off, because out bush, the replacements just aren't the same.
It is nothing short of a disgrace. The Sydney-based management of the ABC are completely out of touch.
If the ABC shortwave closes down, it will really be a big disaster.
Phone signals drop out, internet's hit or miss, and FM just doesn't reach that far. So for a lot of people, this wasn't really an upgrade. It was kind of just losing something that worked. And that's the thing with HF. Yeah, it's old, but it just works. One transmitter and it covers a massive distance. No towers, no data, none of that. You just turn it on and it's there. So why do you hear mostly Asian stations now? Because Australia quit, but Asia didn't. A lot of Asian broadcasters, especially state broadcasters and religious networks targeting Asia, still fund HF because it works across borders, over huge distances, and to places where FM, internet, and media freedom are limited and inconsistent. And in the Pacific specifically, the gap left by Australia did not stay empty for long. In 2018, ABC reported that China's state broadcaster had taken up some of Radio Australia's former shortwave frequencies into the Pacific. So in a very literal sense, Australia switched off and someone else moved in. That's why the bands sound different now. HF didn't disappear, Australia just stopped using it. The countries you do hear are just still investing in it.
The South Australian Senator Nick Xenophon says the ABC has underestimated the impact shutting down its shortwave service will have. The broadcaster will today switch off its shortwave transmission in remote parts of northern Australia and across the Pacific. Senator Xenophon says he plans to introduce legislation next week to force the ABC to reinstate the service. He says the loss of the service will be felt far and wide.
So, what replaced shortwave? Mostly FM, internet, and mobile coverage. And for a lot of people, yeah, that works fine. But Australia is still Australia. There are still huge areas where coverage is patchy, or just doesn't exist at all. And out there, it's not always as simple as just opening an app. So these days, people rely on a mix of things. Satellite phones, VHF, UHF, internet when it's available. It works, but it's not as simple as turning on the radio and hearing everything. So the moral of the story is, it works until you're somewhere where it doesn't. I just got this hat, it was just delivered. Anyway, I thought I would make a different style of a video today, just to talk about the HF broadcasting. So if you did like it, leave a like, maybe subscribe. Majority of you are not subscribed, so that would be awesome if you could subscribe. Comment as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you all later.